Hello and welcome to the Jersey Finance Fintech 9x5. We're here today to really showcase some of Jersey's best and brightest and really homegrown fintechs. I'm Adam Brown, the Strategic Projects Manager at Jersey Finance and the Fintech Lead. So what have we got in store for you, the audience, today? Well, we have 9 Jersey-based fintechs that are going to speak and pitch and demo their products for a total of 5 minutes. And I will warn the audience, there is a buzzer to make sure that the audience keep to time and that the speakers keep to time too. So if you are in a shared office, please be aware the buzzer might go off. And then closing off today, we have one surprise announcement. So please do keep tuned until the end of the broadcast today. So first of all, let's see where we are with regards to Jersey and the fintech scene. Well, it's our digital aspiration to be the easiest IFC to do business with remotely in a digital world. And if we unpick that, well, there's 3 key words. It's about the ease of doing business, it's about doing remotely, and how do we accomplish that? Well, we do that through digital means. And throughout the course of 2020 and what we've seen with disruption working patterns, people in different locations, jurisdictions, the amplification is there. It is around digital and the intelligent technologies that can help Jersey achieve this aspiration, but also firms themselves use technologies such as those that you will hear today to help them be smarter and more productive. And when it comes to fintech, well, we have 13 focus areas. We're focusing on how we can enable the ecosystem through digital infrastructure, skills, people, talent, that having the right environment and the right government support, and that will really help fintech flourish. And what we have today is a variety of different fintechs that have really flourished because the environment's there. And we have 5 different focus areas, and speakers today will cover different examples of fintech from each of these areas. And let's look at the key drivers in the middle. Well, these are all around people and business strategies, how you use the technology, what you do to get your people and yourself smarter, to get the most out of the technology you have. And quite often, it's not about the technology, it's not the bells and whistles, because if you don't know how to use it to its maximum, you're not going to get the benefits from it. So it really is the technology that is underpinned by the people and having a strategy for using it. And what have we done throughout 2020? Well, here's just some of the highlights of work that we've done. It was back in February, we were in this room and we had an audience of about 250 people actually physically in the room, which seems a long time away, a different world away. We've worked with Digital Jersey and we've launched our fintech community of interest where we've had 5 groups and probably in the region of 150 to 200 people participate in those. We've done webinars. A personal highlight is our work on law tech. And don't be fooled by the theme of law. This really is a tech paper which explores opportunities and threats. And we validated this by speaking with you, our members, to understand and explore the maturity ladder for technology in Jersey. So there is something there to go and read. We've also launched our Fintech Put Simply campaign. Look, any industry has jargon and fintech is no different. So in there, we've really gone to town and we've tried to put in simple terms what fintech is through the means of a couple of different scenarios. And back in September, we had our Global Jersey Day where we talked about innovation and technology and the 3 C's of collaboration, connectivity and capital. And we had an audience joining us from, with speakers indeed, from New Jersey, from Jersey, Old Jersey in fact, and South Africa. So that's on the webinar archive as well, which really brings some fascinating insights. And of course, we've got more planned for 2021. But what does that mean and how do we come to the conclusions of what we talk about and the outputs we do? Well, this is through activities. And this year, on the fintech side alone, we've had 48 events, webinars, podcasts, engagements, and that's been through 308 unique individuals. And if you take into account people that have come to more than one event or more than one activity, that number's probably double. And through that, we've distilled the numbers. We have touched 163 different firms, and probably about 80% of those are Jersey Finance members based in Jersey, but we're also gaining the insight from the non-Jersey or non-financial services firms. So that really gives us a good grounding to who we are and what we're doing. And lastly, I'm going to close with this slide. There'll be a few QR codes coming through on screen today. These should be scannable from you, the audience. In this case, this is a QR code which will link you to our fintech page on the Jersey Finance website. So please do check that out to see more examples of the work we've done and the fintech strategy wheel. And that concludes my opening remarks. So up in a second is our first speaker, the first volunteer to go first, James Baker from TSG. And James has recently been working with us at Jersey Finance on a fact sheet paper that's going to be launched within the coming weeks around productivity in financial services. And really, James is going to talk about the theme of productivity and really tell you what that means, and hopefully he's going to tell you what TSG stands for.
Thank you, Adam, and good morning to you. So today I'm going to start off with a stat, and that stat is 828 days. This is how much time we can save you over a 3-year period. And I'm going to explain in the next slides how we can achieve that. So currently, many of us are working from home and working from the office. And with ever-changing regulations, policies need to be changed and updated frequently. Typically, policies are implemented, formulated, and managed in separate silos. So a HR policy can have a direct effect on an IT security policy. So if we think about back to work policies, work from home policies, they're all interconnected. And without a policy framework management in place, this is causing us all sorts of problems, such as lack of centralization, since data seems to reside all over the place. Think about SharePoint on a network share, in the cloud, or perhaps in a separate application. We also need to be able to test employees for compliance, that they understand the policy. As well as that is the time that's taken to create, modify, and distribute the policies. What we're in dire need of is a centralized policy portal that can integrate, consolidate, and manage policies across the organization. So TSG, in partnership with Tech's Policy Hub, we can improve operational efficiency, we can remove complexities of policy and procedure management, we can test employees' knowledge of the policy, and we can provide a full and compliant audit trail. So we looked at the beginning of the slides, we saw this figure of 828 days. So how have we got to that figure? So there's some assumptions here. One assumption is that we're looking at a user base of about 50, which is quite common for Jersey, and also an average policy amount per organisation of around 77. And I can tell you now, with conversations I've had with organisations here, that really is a conservative number. And we also look at policies having to change at least twice a year, and COVID has seen policies change multiple times over a small period. So these assumptions really are conservative. So if you take these and we look at policy management in general, there's 5 elements to this. We have authorizations, we have amendments, we have distributions, we have validations, and we have follow-ups. So what we've done here, what you can see in the black circles, this is what we would see without a policy management solution in place, and what's in orange here is what happens once we put a policy management solution in place. And we can see that on average, a policy will take 22 hours to manage. But with a policy management solution in place, we can reduce that down to 10 hours. It really is significant. So looking at those numbers again and some simple mathematics, we can see 22 hours per policy. We times that by the amount of policies that we have in total, and then we times it by the revisions, and then we look at a 7-hour working day. That then gives us 484 days per year, and over a 3-year period, we're looking at 1,188 days, which is spent on managing policies. It's a crazy big number. If we look at a future state now, where a policy management solution is in place, we can reduce that down to 220 days over 1 year and 360 days over a 3-year period. So simply, we just need to deduct both numbers together, and then we get this magical 828-day figure. So what will you do with this recovered time? How will you reinvest it in your business and in your people? So policy management is just one area that the time-saving gurus cover. We empower our clients to use time more efficiently, and we do that through technology-led solutions. This provides a competitive edge, it reduces operational costs, and we do this by simplifying processes, through automation, and through integration. My contact details are on the screen. You can scan me, or you can do traditional methods, call me, email me, however you like. I'm here, contact me, and let's discuss how we can save you time.
Thanks, James. So TSG, time-saving gurus, all about productivity, automation, and taking the pain away from the users. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have our next speaker, which is Anthony from Defence Logic. And I gave an example earlier of technology where you can spend millions and millions, but without the right people, without the right users, it's a waste. And I think that's exactly the case when it comes to cybersecurity. It is the case of you need your people to be your first defense, but you need them to be enabled by technology. And quite often, you don't know what you don't know, but this is where the experts like Defence Logic come in.
You have been breached. You don't know if your emails are getting forwarded out of the building. You have no idea that somebody is busy copying your CRM database. And in a worst case scenario, you've actually got hackers inside your environment on an average of 220 days. These attacks have been going on for a long, long time. Starting in 1986, moving to what we're seeing more recently, is smaller companies are getting targeted. And what I mean by smaller companies is the non-multinationals. They're much easier targets because they don't have monitoring in place. The multinationals, they've gone and put monitoring in place, making it harder for the hackers to break in. We live in a world, we've got winners and losers. Losers believe it's just not going to happen to them. They believe they're small, they're too small, they're insignificant, no one's interested in their business, and oh, we live in Jersey. That's another reason why no one's going to be looking at us here. They rely on antivirus and firewalls and endpoint protection. These things are completely inadequate against a well-organized hacker. Winners, on the other hand, they do their penetration testing, and they have robust policies in place. They've got monitoring in place that can pick up the breaches early on. The 180 days is how long a hacker is on average in your system. So if you can pick them up within a few days, or in a matter of hours or even seconds, so much the better for you. Client trust, as we all know, is incredibly important. You lose the client's trust, you lose the client. One very quick way of losing client trust is lose their data. Put that out into the wild, and they're not going to be doing business with you. Services need to be available. If they want to trade, they need to have that service available. No excuses. And if you do have a breach, it needs to be properly managed. You can't be in the scenario like TalkTalk, where they had this flip-flop approach of it's a big breach, it's a small breach, we don't even know if it is a breach. You've got to know what you're doing when you manage a breach. You've now installed a monitoring solution. This is what your breach looks like tomorrow. You can actually anticipate attacks coming into your environment because you're scanning outside. Internal or external attacks can be dealt with really quickly, and the damage is obviously mitigated to a huge extent. And then once the dust settles after the breach, you've got forensic data to actually prosecute the perpetrators if you can get hold of them. And during this whole process, you've got security experts on hand helping you all the way through. Just have a read through these questions and think how quickly you would be able to answer these. Like Mary, who's actually meant to be working in client onboarding, what is she doing digging around in the HR files? And your servers, do you know that they're actually doing Bitcoin mining? Or are you just quite happy for the criminals to use your servers and your electricity and your processing power to mine away for their own gains? With a monitoring solution, you can answer these really quickly. We installed recently on a financial services company. The impact to their IT team was minimal, and they now have us monitoring their solution 24/7 without having to build out a complete cybersecurity team. They are delighted with our service. With SIEM monitoring, your problem is solved. You've got expert eyes in your system. You've got tripwires detecting the hackers moving around your system. And you've also, when you attacked internally or externally, you can actually respond. And this is not our first rodeo. We'll be your instant response next to you the whole time. And all of this for a very affordable price of less than £15 per user per month for a company of the size of about 100 users. Thank you very much for your time. You've been hacked.
Thanks, Anthony. Really fascinating presentation there. So again, another example of there's the problem being stated and another example of a local-based firm that has a depth and capability to support you, the financial services sector, and our business. I'm about to welcome our next speaker onto stage, Tom Wiseman from Enhance Group. Now, many firms in Jersey have grown organically to support the financial services sector, and I think that's where we see the nucleus of fintech in and of itself. Tom and Enhance tell a different story, and I really would recommend that you speak to Tom, Justin, and the wider team to find this story out. But it's a story about how they've moved from being a financial services business into a fintech business. So I think Tom and the team can really speak honestly and vouch for what you and your firm's needs are, what the needs of your clients are, because they've lived through that story themselves. So welcome, Tom.
Thank you very much, Adam, and good morning, everyone. Now, to properly introduce Enhance Group, we were established in Jersey in 2005 to provide specialist investment reporting and advice services to the global fiduciary community. We're an independent owner-managed business, and that remains the case today, although we're very fortunate now to have institutional backing, which has helped us to invest very heavily in proprietary technology. And it's our technology that I'd like to discuss with you today. So we've been fortunate over the years to gain some scale in what we do. And some of the headline facts and figures about Enhance are that we now monitor over $40 billion of investment assets across almost every global jurisdiction. And we're now very fortunate enough to have more than 25 actually of the largest global fiduciary companies as our clients. And the way that we're able to monitor such a significant amount of investment data is driven purely now by technology. So as Adam alluded to, we moved our entire technology stack into the cloud and make big use of open source software, API connectivity, and effectively the creation of an ecosystem to now take lots of big data on behalf of trust companies, which is from the investment managers and the wealth managers that they employ, and turn that into a standardized data set and, importantly, standardized analytics that enable them to manage the risks that are inherent across their client base through investing in financial assets. So the plan for today in the next few minutes is to take you through our data journey. There's a 6-stage data journey, which we go through from collection right the way through to data dashboarding, which is the way that we now deliver our service to the fiduciaries that we work with. So if we start off with data collection, on each slide you'll see a quick snapshot of our proprietary platform Mosaic, doing something relevant to the section of the data process that I'm discussing. Here we have our data portal, which is one of the ways that we enable investment managers to submit data to us very quickly and very securely. We also expose an API. We can work off of our own or off of a third party's SFTP. We can, of course, collect data by email. And believe it or not, we still take data through the post. So we have a very broad range of data collection mechanisms, which basically gives the investment counterparties that we're working with on behalf of trust companies every opportunity to give us the data we need to do the investment oversight work that we're employed to do. The second stage of the process is data mapping, and this is something that we don't need to do where we have an API in place, because an API hits all of our endpoints with relevant data. But generally speaking, most investment managers will provide us with some kind of flat file, which we then need to transform and mine. And we principally do that through our own platform, through a data mapping tool that we've developed in-house. And that's the tool that you see on the screen. And essentially our data team will look at a big data file and they will mine it for everything that we need to produce our investment reports. We also use PDF extraction, third-party software like Ultrix, and have a team that will do manual data input where required. The third part of our journey is data enrichment, and this is where we take all of the holdings that we're collecting from all of the investment portfolios that we monitor, and we go out to global databases to enrich each of those holdings independently. And some of the things that we enrich for are asset class, currency class, sector, domicile, credit quality, you name it. We're taking a property from an independent database and bringing that into the system. We then move on to data analytics, and here we do lots of clever things which you'll find familiar from most investment reports. But we focus on risk and return calculations, along with having an X-ray of a portfolio, which is particularly important for us because it enables us to look at an investment policy statement and identify programmatically any deviations. Then we move into data visualization, which is how we start to show all of the analytics that we have. And we use lots of different methodologies here. But in principle, we have both the client portal and a report building tool that gets us to our output. And finally, we dashboard it all. So all of our clients across the world now have access to a client portal, which gives fiduciaries all of the information that they need to monitor the investments.
And there we have our first buzzer. 5 minutes goes quick, doesn't it, Tom?
It does.
So I think we're just on the last slide anyway. So perfect timing. So thank you very much. And now, if we move from a company that was founded in 2005, one of Jersey's oldest fintechs, to one of Jersey's newest fintechs, Heather Ann Hubel is probably known to a few people on the stream. Serial entrepreneur, career in finance, the list goes on and on. So I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Heather Ann.
Thank you very much, Adam. Good morning, everybody. You know, I've spent years in finance as a lawyer, as a banker, and as a consultant. And it never fails to amaze me how much time we spend investing in technology. We don't really ever solve the problem of how to deal with the processes of the complex things that we do day to day. So we end up building up an ad hoc, unaudible network of Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, Trello boards, and the dreaded email chain. So at Fintechs, we've worked in these international transactions. We've worked across borders and have experienced the nuances of international instruments and of dealing with international regulation. We get to the complexities and the challenges. So we decided to do something about it. We thought about the day-to-day practicalities of the challenges that we deal with in terms of these multinational transactions. So we decided something simple that works on our island in our industry, but scales globally. Enter Fundex. Fundex focuses on essential activities that we all do regularly. Mundane things like producing documents, validating that they're appropriately signed, making sure that we've got the right people signing off on them and dealing with them appropriately. And then maintaining and sharing information across multiple parties in that end-to-end ecosystem that is the investment strategy. Keeping the process streamlined and standardized is the core to our business. We created a standardized mapping of data requirements across the funding network to raise and administer funds. We take a template approach to gathering the data, to be able to manage the documents, and more importantly, to be able to report out information to the participants. We're an information platform. Fundex coordinates data, gives you a single place to access and share a golden source of information about companies, people, transactions, and investments across the participants in your ecosystem. You even can coordinate tasks, activities, and projects across all of those participants, no matter where they work, without resorting to Excel spreadsheets and project management tools. Think of Fundex as a collaboration hub between colleagues, clients, and advisors with a single source of truth. Each participant has a tailored permission to access and update the data and documents that are on a secure and trusted network. That hub allows you to coordinate data flows between all participants in the financial ecosystem to provide management, tracking, and reporting capabilities for any of those participants, including the regulator. User permissions allow this single source of truth to be shared as needed with trusted partners in the entire investment ecosystem, streamlining that process and enabling you to get to market faster. Permissions give you the full ability to control and manage who can do what to the documents and data on the platform. You can invite your clients, your investors, your advisors, and even your regulators to access the information, knowing exactly what data they can see and potentially edit. It's easy and accessible to use, whether you're a global or regulated business or a family office. Fundex is highly customizable without technology support, so you can set it up for your needs today and adjust it as your processes change without a technology team. Data can be loaded in or extracted, and we can connect it to other service providers that you may have. You recognize a number of our partners, including Yoti for EID, Signitized for authorized signatures, KYC Global Technologies for our own KYC processes, and Shares Inside for investor reporting. Onboarding to Fundex is easy, and you can tailor it to your specifications. Best of all, we're here on island, so we'll work with you to make it work for you. It's simple and it's easy. We're looking forward to talking to you, and our contact details are here. Fundex, your central hub. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Heather Ann. A real lot of strong messages come out there. The piece that resonates with me is built on island for our market, can scale global. That's a really powerful message. And hopefully that's coming through to you, the audience today, just how credible and capable the firms presenting today are. And on to our next speaker. We've got Mike from Puritas. Now, Mike may not remember this, but I've known the team at Puritas for probably about 10 years. And very early on, I asked Mike the question, I said, do you think of yourselves as a fintech? And Mike sort of rebuffed me and said, no, he just wanted to be known for product and service excellence. I think it was at that point I knew I was going to get on with Mike, and I knew Puritas were onto something. So Mike, let's tell everyone else about it.
Thanks, Adam, and good morning. Over the past 12 years, we've developed a number of software products for the finance industry, and Pure Funds being our flagship product. But today, I'm going to provide you with an overview of Pure Client, and a few short demos of the software. So Pure Client evolved from a fund platform, Pure Funds. We established that due to increased regulation, there was a need for systems to only focus on data and reporting. So we created Pure Client. Pure Client is a standalone central repository for recording all key static data and documents for any type of entity. So Pure Client has an open API that will interface with external applications and feed them with key static data. So rather than having multiple systems to store client data, all static data, CDD and risk data can be maintained in one application, ultimately providing a single source of truth for data. So as you can see, we have a variety of data that can be held on the system, but more importantly, we have a number of key features that are in the system, such as we have multi-jurisdictional CDE configuration, we have APIs of WorldCheck Refinitiv, we can do risk assessments, and we also will have full FATCA and CRS reporting capabilities. But today, I'm going to currently focus on automating investor onboarding. So as you can see on the screen here, we have a website. Clients will be able to go to a website, download a PDF form or complete an online web form. That will be then submitted and then arrive in the Pure Client workflow, and ultimately it will be imported into the application. So here's a short demo of the application process. As you can see, we have a PDF application form here. The client will simply update the application form, and once all the data has been populated, just simply click on the submit button. This will submit the data, and within the application there's built-in validations that will ensure the data is correct, and the client will receive confirmation it's been sent. This will then go into the pure client workflow. This will give the business the ability to approve or reject the application before it goes into the system. But in this example here, straight through processing, just by clicking accept, the data will go into the complete stage, and it will now be uploaded into Pure Client. Simply refresh the Pure Client database, and as you can see, Mary Jones has appeared in the Pure Client database with all the key static data, CDD requirements, relationships, and this is also the same for Steve Jones, who was also on the application as a joint investor. Now I'd just like to also show you the generic data import process. This is particularly useful for onboarding a large number of investors or entities. Simply the business will complete a multi-sheet Excel spreadsheet, drop it into our GDI, and then ultimately then also go into Pure Client. So once again, we have a quick run through of that. Oh, no. Someone press play on the... Oh, here we go. Right, the generic data import is here, and basically what would happen is the client will populate a multi-sheet spreadsheet, and then as you can see within each of the tabs we have a unique identifier that joins all the data together. Once the business will basically populate the spreadsheet, they simply drag and drop the spreadsheet into the GUI, and then as you can see the data is now extracted into the GDI, these 5 or 6 tabs at the bottom. Then this will go through a validation process, so simply the validation will validate all the data before it goes into the Pure Client database, and as you can see there's no exceptions on the right hand side there, so this will mean we can just simply process the data and all 400 entities will now be imported into Pure Client. So just flick into Pure Client, we do a quick refresh. So 557 goes up to 956, and we've just migrated 400 entities into the Pure Client database. And finally, I'd just like to show you our Pure Task bot. It's for internal and external reporting. We've actually integrated Pure Client with Teams to allow people within the business and outside of the business network, such as fund managers and investment managers, to request and receive reports. They will simply interact with the Pure Client bot, select their report, and then it will be downloaded to Excel. So here's a quick snapshot of the bots in action. So as you can see, the user would have access to a specific Teams channel. They will simply interact with the bot, type list reports, a select number of categories would appear, and they would just go to the actual report, select generate, and then the report will be submitted and then available for download, as you can see. And okay, simply by clicking download, time's up, you can extract the report. There we go.
Extract the report. No, that was great, thank you. So I think while the video's still tuning through to its end, I think it's important to point out there the point you're talking around is data portability, transferability, automation and improvements.
Yeah, exactly.
And data is another piece that we're going to come on to with our next speaker, Ben from the summit. It was in this very room back in February where we talked about the importance of data and data strategies, and often that was called out as an inhibitor of the use of technology or productivity gains. I think this is where Ben and the summit come in. They're a dedicated data analytics company based here in Jersey. And if your business really doesn't have a data strategy, well, first of all, you need to ask yourself why, and then you need to call someone like Ben.
Thank you very much for that introduction. So I'm Ben, I'm founder of the Summit. We kicked things off this year in March, a full month and all years to try and start a business. What we do is we're dedicated business analytics specialists. So what this means is we have a single focus and a single vision to help clients or partners, as we call them, to accelerate their business analytics. This is my very handsome team. These guys have got a world of experience in both the finance world, in e-commerce world, healthcare, a whole range of different industries. But with that tech background and focus, we've got the real strength to help you to accelerate your business analytics. We're proud to be a Microsoft partner. This is what this means is we leverage the whole stack of amazing business analytics tools that Microsoft has to offer. Some of them are based in the cloud, some of them are not. It's like a Swiss Army knife of different tools and things we can do to pretty much anything in the data space. So it could be automation, it could be modeling, it could be visualization. There's a whole thing we can use there to really deliver amazing solutions. How do we help you? It comes in 3 pillars. First and foremost is the analytics solutions. So this is the kind of thing that's going to help you to understand the past, master the now, predict the future. Looking at your business in a different way, primarily visually, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we can build and model to really understand what drivers there are kind of in your business that are making it tick. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of extraction, transformation, loading, and automation. We don't make a song and dance about that. It's kind of a given. But it's the modeling piece which I find has got the real power and the complexity. But that's where we can really help you to build the solutions that you need and that you want. It's not just analytics solutions. It's not one-off pieces. We do like to partner with our clients. We like to, stay with them for the long term. There's a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of, changes that happen in the business. So that ongoing partnership really starts to get the maximum out of being part of or with the summit. We start to learn your business, what drivers you're working with, and kind of where you're going, and we can add more and more value just through that longer-term partnership. We've got the experience. We've run data projects, both big and small, platforms, data warehousing, regulatory reporting. We've done it all. We've got loads of experience behind us to kind of bring and add to the pile, and always looking to be innovative for new solutions. If you still don't get it, this is my kind of break it down and explain you what it is we do. So everyone has data. Hopefully you've got a bit of a strategy, but you've at least got ideas and innovations and a plan for the future or what you want to achieve. With us, we can turn this into a reality into your business. You can take that high-level strategy, drive it down into everyone in your organization so you're moving in the same direction together, and that can be through stimulating, powerful, interactive, and visual reports with that top end, as per the nice screenshots there of some of the solutions we've built. Our approach is quite simple. It takes 4 kind of phases. Each is important to each other. I won't go into too much detail because of the limited time, but the outcome of this approach is pertinent solutions that exact fit to what you need in your business. What's the point in doing it? It's about accelerating your analytics. This is dragging you up from this level 1. At the moment, you might only have reporting to see, what's currently going on. You have no appreciation of what's happened, don't know where you're going, there's no targets, there's no budgeting, that's overlaid or disseminated in the business. That's the kind of things we can help with. So we bring you up from level 1, drag you into level 2, you can now see what's going on. Cross, compare, make relative comparisons across the business, start to get a sense of really what's happening right down at that bottom level, all the way up to the top of the structure, looking at that, top level performance. And from a financial sense or an operational sense, that's the whole spectrum. Once you've kind of got the understanding and a visibility of what's going on, or that enhanced perspective, we can start to budget and forecast based on either, creative and ambitious thinking about the future, but likewise we can kind of build automated and dynamic forecasts based on historic trends and things coming up and that kind of thing too. And we can take it higher and higher and higher. So it's a case of, starting your journey, but bring us on board and we can take you higher than you wanted to go or could go than before. I've got spare time, so I'll talk about some of the industries we worked in. So what are the kind of things we're doing? 30 seconds to go. So we're building whole platforms to radicalize what's going on in finance teams. So we've built fully automated production, management accounts production systems. We've got whole businesses wrapped up in single models. They can see what's going on across all the entities, all the employees, looking at payrolls, timesheets, Zero, just all the systems you can think of. We've got that kind of single view of the world that really, really delivers some power. So if you're interested, check out our website to get the less rushed version of what I've just spun through and get in contact. Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. And there's the buzzer. Perfect timing. So I think that's a recurring theme that's coming through about data and making the most with the technology that you have. And I'm very conscious that during the stream today, there's been a lot of slides and a lot of content. So please do, as an audience, be reassured that this will be on our webinar archive shortly after, and you'll be able to play this back at your own leisure, land on some of the screens, really digest the information and follow up. And also, one of the things that came out, Jason Laity of Digital Jersey is going to come on stage at the end of the session. We spoke with the trade associations and fintech companies a few weeks ago. One of the things that came out was really that the CTOs, the technologists, are aware of the technologies that are available, but quite often they don't know the problems that the end users are having. So if you are an end user that you've seen solutions on stage today and throughout the rest of the morning, please do feel empowered to, to suggest and recommend, share with friends and colleagues. The buzzer's about to go because I've just rambled on, but I'm going to talk over my own buzzer and break my own rules and introduce Jonathan. So, over the past couple of years, there's been a continued story and narrative about digital onboarding and solutions. And to be honest, I've seen most of the solutions that's out there, and there's a pink one, a yellow one, a blue one, and they're all fine and great. They all stop at retail clients. Jonathan and his team over at Tiller Technology have seen that. The benefit of being in Jersey and knowing the market is to know that we don't have that retail client base. It's the corporates and the structures. That's where a lot of the EID solutions stop, but this is where Jonathan and the team take it to the next level. So over to you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Well, listen, we have a sophisticated solution, thank you for the intro, for a very complex problem. And that complex problem is onboarding clients in this truly international world in which Jersey operates. But I've got 5 minutes to talk about it. So I'm really going to rush through this today. Why is digital onboarding the future? Well, we could have debated this ad nauseum before COVID-19, but the whole world changed in terms of operating processes. We can't do face-to-face, nice, cozy chats with our clients anymore if we ever could. We could do cold to compliant for a retail client in a UK regulated business in 20 minutes, fully automated, as good as zero cost once the system is installed. But really, looking at Jersey businesses with these complex requirements, there are 4 main reasons. The industry has to cut the cost of onboarding. I think anyone working in this environment realizes that the current ways of doing things are just untenable for the cost and the operational inefficiency of doing it manually. But otherwise, looking at it more positively, it's going to be very difficult for Jersey businesses to grow, double the size of their clients without changing the way they do things. And lastly, and it's kind of no mean threat, those businesses that don't adjust to more efficient, nicer ways of onboarding clients are really going to struggle. So what are the capabilities of WealthExcel on board? Well, let's start with the onboarding of individuals. It is our heritage. That's where we proved the technologies and the automated processes. But also bear in mind that when we think of an individual, that could be present in a joint account, director, trustee, whatever. So just going into the individuals, the key thing for us is to try and make the clients do as much of the work as possible. Yes, form filling is a required necessity, but get the client to do it through online smart web forms supported by the latest mobile applications where we're using biometrics, all sorts of other automated checks. And as I said earlier, if you get it right and get the client to do it, it's more likely to happen that they get their data right first time. To make it possible for international country onboarding, we have the ability to verify over 4,000 different types of government-issued ID documents, whether that be passport, military ID, you name it. But we can also do the very important thing of address validation in over 120 countries. To support that, we have a number of customizable business rules, which means that in some countries we ask for just the passport, in others we ask the passport and the ID, and we do cross verification between the two. I'm just going to show a 30-second video here of the app. So take a picture of your passport, in this case, through a guided process. We're one of the first countries to be able to use NFC chip technology, actually lift the picture from your passport in digital form, a picture of your utility bill, and now we're going into sort of fairly common technologies of taking a selfie, and then also what's called a liveliness test, where it's a randomized set of instructions to recognize that you are a real person. This is the latest kind of technologies, all incorporated into a customizable, white-labeled app. But going back to this point about complex structures, we've taken the same philosophy of being able to onboard through automated processes and applied to corporate structures, including tiered structures, but also bringing in a number of additional features. So, for example, here is a slide from our UI, and this is a customer being asked what type of onboard they want the system to do. And then the customer, in this case, for example, a company secretary, goes through and completes that journey and all the automated ID and V. We're also linking into Companies House through API. We allow for two-way secure document upload, keep everything within the portal. Because once you've got all of that information coming in through digital sources and being updated live, the very important thing of being able to monitor those processes is now enabled. So we can do a number of different monitoring functions. And lastly, these are complex systems to install, so we've linked up with a number of world-class firms. Luxoft is now owned by a Fortune 500 company, and they can do the installation.
Give you 10 more seconds.
And even the contract for us. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. That was a really powerful message, and I think the bit that comes there is it doesn't need to be as complex as it's often made out to be. Now, our next speaker will be known to many as the leader of an award-winning cloud business. And it's not that business that Julian's here to talk and pitch to us today. It's really another solution of his. It's fair to say 2020 has been a disrupted, rough, and quite probably unpleasant year for many of us. And many of us probably suffered some of the well-being challenges of working from home, uncertainty, the constant feed of negativity on the news. So how do you monitor and measure well-being? And how do you manage that through remote working and disparate locations of your staff in these times? Well, previously, I don't think you could, or certainly I'd not ever found a way of doing it until I came across Julian and Vibe. And that's what Julian's here to talk about today.
Thank you. Yes, my name's Julian Box. I'm founder of Vibe. So I'm going to talk about why well-being is important, but also ultimately why belonging is important within an organisation, actually, and well-being drives that. So if you're looking at the challenges of your staff, the performance of them, the turnover of them, the sick days, their overall well-being, and ultimately the performance that underlines the performance of your business as well, then belonging becomes the number one priority that any organisation should look at. Because when you're looking at culture is built from the sense of belonging. If people don't believe that they belong to your organisation or belong in that team, then they will disengage to a certain degree, and you start getting performance issues and so forth. So it's a real driver of what ultimately is the culture and the well-being within your teams, within your organisations. So how do you actually find out how good that belonging is? And before I get onto that, I'll just talk about a little bit about the flexible working piece that was just mentioned. So we are now moving into less of a permanent remote working, which some people seem to think is going to happen, but more, I believe, and most pundits believe, we're moving into a very flexible working model, and that's going to be the driver of how businesses interact. So that connection, that actual belonging piece becomes even more important, because if you've got people in and out the office all the time, some people spending more time in the office and so forth, that sense of belonging and understanding how they're feeling becomes even more important. So what is Vibe? So Vibe is a digital platform that actually captures the quality of the connections between your employees. And that connection drives the quality of their sense of belonging. Ultimately, if people don't have a great connection with someone, then that sense of belonging breaks down, and ultimately your culture breaks down, and the performance breaks down, and ultimately the well-being of the individuals breaks down. So the quality of the connection that everybody has with each other becomes, in effect, the foundations of any great organisation, the quality of happiness and well-being within the staff, and ultimately, the overall performance of your organisation. So what Vibe does is allows you to capture that data and helps you foster a sense of belonging within your organisation, and you build on that to develop a much stronger culture, high-performing, happier staff within your organisation. So how does it work? Well, it's quite simple. It takes about 30 seconds once a month for people just to vibe each other. And it's all done on emoji, and it's basically how you feel, how your connection is with someone. You simply click emoji and it's done. So, and you get different people each month. All the data is completely anonymized, so no one knows who's voting with each other. The only person that knows who's voting with you is you yourself. You see the people that are going to vibe you that month, and it also encourages you to step out and actually make those connections and build stronger connections with each other. And from a remote working perspective, certainly the client base that we've been using have seen that this has been really quite advantageous, that they can, in effect, encourage people to make connections and enforce those connections and still build those connections even while they've been remote over the last few months. But it is very simple. It literally takes 30 seconds. And it creates an holistic view of the quality of connections that people have with each other within your organisation. And you can do some really cool things there. You can then see which teams have better connections with each other, which teams aren't connecting as good as each other that they should do. All this data is all through various business analytic pieces that are inside the app as well. Also, once a week, a pulse will go out to everybody in your organisation, and it asks them how they feel. So it is a well-being pulse, and you link the two pieces of data together. So you understand how the individual feels, and you also understand how the connections that they have with each other are working or not working in some cases, and where you need to support people. And that combines to build a much stronger sense of belonging, a stronger culture, happier staff, and ultimately, for the business, a higher performing organisation, both team-wise and overall. So look, 20 seconds to spare.
20 seconds to spare, what do you want to say?
There's my details. If you want to have a conversation with me, I'd love to talk in a lot more detail. 5 minutes isn't very long to go over an app that is incredibly simple but incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that's what really stood out to me, the culture piece, the connection piece, the understanding, and really seeing how your people, your teams, your staff, your colleagues, your line reports, whoever it is, are really feeling. And that's really powerful. So thank you, Julian.
Thank you.
And next up is today's final speaker. I wouldn't be so bold as to introduce him akin to the headline act at Glastonbury, but he certainly got the pleasure of closing out the 9 Fintech speaking today. So we've got Jensen from Warm and Owen from their sister company Opal. Owen is about to join us via Zoom, so hopefully the technology works there. And there's Owen. Warm are contributing to the productivity piece I mentioned earlier, and really they've brought in great insights as to how they're measuring productivity within their business. And they're not here today to talk about that, but it is great insight nonetheless, so please stay tuned for that future piece of work. But what Jensen's here to tell us about is the Warm platform, their sister companies, and the blue chip clients that they have. And quite frankly, if the blue chip clients are good enough for them, why they should be good enough for you, our audience, and our Jersey-based financial services firms. So over to you, Jensen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As Adam said, I'm here to give you an overview of our organisation and how we've gained competitive advantage in the marketplace. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is about Warm and our sister company, Opal, and our software provision. So our Opal in the UK, we've administered over £10 billion worth of funds. We're ISO 27001. We're regulated by the FCA, and we have over 100 employees, both in Jersey, in the UK, and in Jaipur in India. As Adam said previously, alluded to earlier, we boast a very, very credible client list to include Lloyds, Aviva, HBOS, and HSBC. What I want to do is give you guys a quick overview on how we gain competitive advantage with HSBC by developing a protection product with them for them within 3 months from inception to completion. This particular product is online, and if you want to sign up for a life insurance policy, you can do that. Effectively, how we do it is by utilizing the business capability framework. That's capitalizing on the Pandora Suite functionality that we have. That's a modular framework, so it enables us to be able to pull the various different modules out for the organization, and that in turn enables us to be able to build systems on time and on budget, to the point where HSBC actually sent people in because they couldn't believe how quickly it was delivered from inception to completion. Moving forward, the technology stack that we use HTML, CSS, and jQuery. Effectively, when we're building our technology, we're moving towards one version of the truth, very much towards a digital dashboard. When we build it once, it means it's mobile, desktop, laptop compatible. And then what I'm now going to do, and effectively we're able to seamlessly integrate into other core applications as well, to include the likes of Tiller, etc. What I'm going to do now is hand over to my colleague Owen, the CEO in the UK, and he'll take it from there.
Thank you, Jensen. Firstly, sorry I can't be with you. I'm here on the edge of London, as you can probably figure out from my accent. So Jensen talked about our technology stack and our capability and our clients. And what I'll do is quickly introduce you to what problems we solve and how we solve them. So moving forward, we categorize our proposition into two main areas. One we call launch and one we call link, our legacy link. Launch is all about getting new ideas and new products to market and to market quickly. So we're the accelerator for our clients. They all have IT capabilities and IT stacks, but they can't do things as quickly as we can. What would take them 2 or 3 years to develop takes us literally months. We're configuring, we're not building. And the idea is they come up with an idea and they rapidly get it into the market and test it via an MVP. And then we can incrementally change it over time till it's lean and mean and working very well. So we're effectively the syringe for the medicine that they want to put into the market. And that's what we've done for HSBC and others. Legacy Link is all about augmenting what you already have. So lots of financial services business have legacy systems. They work, but they're slow to develop and configure. And what we can do is deploy any or all of the modules that we've developed, connected via API back into the system of record, which is the legacy system. So it doesn't, it's not about replatforming. It's about using what you have and then augmenting it with the latest web technology, engagement technology. We're also moving forward an integrator. So as part of the projects that Jensen mentioned earlier, we've developed a significant ecosystem in the protection space, but also in the investment and wealth management space. And that ecosystem means we're connected to all the aggregators, all the IFA platforms, digital underwriting rules engines, added benefit health service, digital solutions, lots of them listed there, also connected back into the systems of our clients. So those integrations allow us to deliver some or all of those ecosystems for the new solutions for our clients. So as soon as the system switches on, they can take advantage of the market-leading value providers within the area. And what's important for us is we're not building, we're configuring, hence our pace. So Jensen's in the room today. Contact him, contact me. And most importantly, I've really enjoyed the presentations today. I hope everybody stays safe and look forward to being with you on the island very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Owen. And still can't believe we've got 18 seconds to spare. But as Owen said, our contact details are there, and we'd be very keen to talk to anybody. And we're more than happy to do a demonstration and show you exactly what we've got. Adam, I'm going to hand back over to you, and thank you very much for the opportunity as well. And a big well done. Thank you.
Thanks, Jensen. I think the team there just wanted to use the buzzer. I'm quite surprised as to how everyone has largely kept to time. So that brings us to the end of the 9 fintechs talking today. Really the message that's come through is repeated about local solutions. They understand the problem that you're facing. They're here, they're available. But it's around collaboration with people as well. And this is where it's great to bring in our next speaker. I teased an announcement at the start of the presentation today. Jason is going to take that forward, but Jason Leite, hopefully known to many as a career accountant, more recently the head of Fintech at Digital Jersey, and soon to be the chair at Jersey Finance, so I better be careful what I say. But over to you, Jason.
Yes, you've already erred by calling me a career accountant. What an introduction that is. Thank you very much, Adam. So we'll talk about that at your next performance appraisal. So you will be needing the buzzer, I'm sure, or not. So thank you very much, Adam, for that glittering introduction before that one. It's a great pleasure to be here at the end of what looks like an absolutely amazing event and a real physical manifestation of all the fintech activity that's going on the island. So when you look through the the businesses that are represented and the skills and what you're all doing. It really is amazing. And that's really one of the thoughts behind what we're about to talk to you about. I've preluded this a couple of times. We were planning to use an iteration of it at Innovate Finance earlier on in the year, but obviously that got cancelled for reasons you all know, understand. So without further ado, what should appear behind me, if the clicker works, is some nice new imagery. And this links to a website which is live today, all locally designed and built very obviously. So the idea behind this website and brand is in talking to the fintechs, many of them in the room, on and off island, and businesses wishing to use those fintechs. They've all said to us one of the unique propositions that Jersey has is the ability for the various interested people to get together quite quickly and talk in a sort of collaborative and open sense, and move things forward quite quickly. So the three agencies involved in the launch of this collaborative site, Jersey Finance, Digital Jersey, and Locate Jersey. And really, if you think about it in a two-way sense, this is to help local fintechs market their businesses off island, and we'll certainly be looking at ways we can do that when we can actually physically get off the island. And also, it's promoting Jersey as a destination for new entrants to the island to bring new skills and opportunities to the market here. So I say there's the website behind it, fintech.je, which is launched today, which goes through all the various facets of that. And it really is very impressive, at least I think so. Lots of good data on there, talking about the internet speed and how that compares to the rest of the world and so on and so forth. So I would encourage you to have a look at that. And as I say, we really do want to use this as a proposition and a tool to help you market your businesses off island when we're able to do so, in much the same way that Jersey Finance have successfully done that with their various sectors in the past. So if you scan the QR code there, you'll get to the website. It's fintech.je. Encourage you to all have a look at it. If you want to ask any questions, speak to Adam, myself, or Jess at Digital Jersey. As I say, this is very much a tool we hope will help you going forward, and you'll be hearing much more of it in the future. As Adam said, I'm moving from Digital Jersey after having spent a few months there poking around trying to find out what's going on in fintech and how I can move that forward to really go to Jersey Finance, and to some extent obviously I've got other roles there as well to help doing the same. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going from the light to the dark side or the dark to the light side, but even so I'll still be around and still really looking to further this agenda forward, because we all recognise, all of the agencies, how important it is to Jersey's future. What is even more important to Jersey's future is the skills and the workforce that we have here, and obviously we want to grow that even further. And I would encourage you all, if you haven't done already, to have a look at the Digital Jersey Tech Awards. And there is a Jersey Finance sponsored category, Best Use of Technology in Finance, which is what it says on the tin. So scan the QR code, nominate something which you've seen, which is really stands out, and we'll be doing in much the same way that we did with the Tech Week a few weeks ago. Some tech awards in very soon. And to promote again on and off island the breadth of the skills that we have in the industry here. So that's my time, well before time. I told you for once I wasn't going to run over. Adam assures me there's no need to hand back to him. I will anyway, just to catch you out. But I would congratulate you all on the amazing stuff that you're doing at the moment. Such a breadth of talent and activity represented today. And I know it's said so many times, but for a small 9x5 island, we've really got an awful lot going on here in the fintech space, and we're really looking forward to helping you push that forward in 2021 and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason. So there's the pressure there to come up with an impromptu thank you and closing remarks. What we've heard from today is a vast variety of different businesses, wealth tech, reg tech, onboarding, data, investment management solutions, reporting. There is something for everyone in Jersey. It can be acquired locally. You can deal with these businesses. As Jason says, the ability that we have as Jersey is to get people in the room together, and that's powerful. It means we can move at pace and at speed, and I think that's what I'd like to leave people with today. So thank you very much for the audience. For some of the slides that might have gone a little bit fast, we will be putting this on our webinar archive over the next couple of days, maybe into next week. But please do check out jerseyfinance.je/fintech. Thank you.